please welcome to the FREDTalks stage, Mitch Trichon.
We really need to talk. I reconnected with one of my buddies from high school and college just a few weeks ago. His name is John Bell. He's a labor lawyer who represents people with disabilities. And it was the first time we hung out since college. What he does now is that he shared how his passion is for helping people who have been wronged by their employers. And the interesting part about our conversation is he gave me this unnecessary apology. He apologized for being a bystander. You see, we were in the same fraternity in college, and some of our fraternity brothers were not very brotherly to me. It wasn't that my pledge name was the name of a mentally challenged movie character who stuttered. Actually, I liked the name Smiley. It was that some saw me as an easy target to pick on because of my verbal challenges and short stature. It was their way of getting ahead, but it came at the cost of me not being the bigger social person that I was meant to be. His apology was a reminder of how public my humiliation was. It brought me back to my cutting pace in high school and sometimes college. I used to take a knife and make several cuts right here. I did this when my mental hurt became too much and my frustration couldn't be translated into words. It wasn't because I couldn't talk. I'd become more fluent. It wasn't because I couldn't talk. I'd become more fluent in my 13 years of speech therapy in grade school. This included therapy 5 days a week when I was 8, and a 3-week intensive program for adults when I was only 12. It was more the fear of losing control of my speech when trying to socialize, followed by the feeling of less than, and sometimes asking the self-pitying question of, why me? Unfortunately, I did not get professional help with this. But over time, I was lucky enough to have grown to understand it. Part of that growth came from talking with other people who stutter. I know there's probably a few of you out there right now who understand this kind of hurt that I'm talking about because you've experienced, whether you cut or not. If you still do experience it, listen. Get help. Needing help is normal. Getting help is smart. And I'm so thankful that more and more people and public figures are talking about their mental hurt and are normalizing it. Anyway, getting back to John's apology. After John's apology, he asked me, why would a guy who seems to have his stutter under control, who is taunted by his stutter, give up his career as a certified public accountant and choose to associate himself with the stuttering community and make it his livelihood? It was such an honest and insightful question. What John didn't know, and what many people don't understand, is that for many people, the problem of stuttering is about the words that are never spoken, the situations that are avoided, and the opportunities that are missed. I dealt with this in college by attending a stuttering support group. And while participating, I caught the ear of a professor that asked me to regularly share my insights with her graduate fluency disorders class. It was a challenge, an opportunity to self-reflect and to teach student clinicians to better understand the experience of stuttering. After college, I continued sharing about my stuttering experiences at various universities and found that I enjoyed learning more and teaching about stuttering. But it wasn't until after 9/11 when I realized how short life can be, when I seriously considered changing careers to become a speech pathologist. I started taking my prerequisite courses at Queens College, and within 2 years, I was awarded a fellowship at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette to pursue my master's and doctorate with John Tetnowski. But during those 2 years in Queens, I knew I had a lot to learn about stuttering and self-acceptance, since my previous therapy focused on fluency. I started by creating the Queens chapter of the NSA and attended my first national and international stuttering conferences in 2003. In going to these conferences, I learned that it wasn't my stuttering that was holding me back from my success. It was my attitude towards my stutter. This was learned from talking with others who stutter. I decided more people needed to know about these activities so they can have their own aha moments. To answer the why me question, I knew that there was something good about these activities, these conferences and groups, and I needed to learn more about it and share it with more professionals and more of the stuttering community. So first, I've conducted some research in this area that has provided professionals with the evidence to back their recommendations to attend such events. I'm proud to say that with the help of my co-authors, our research about self-help activities for people who stutter has been presented and published around the world. In addition to educating professionals, I have also done my best to educate my own students about stuttering and self-help activities over the last 15 years. Secondly, I've done my best to connect with other people who stutter to the stuttering community by immersing myself in such organizations as the NSA, the International Stuttering Association, Friends, and by conceptualizing and co-creating Stutter Social, an internet-based community that uses webcams to connect people up to now 5 times a week. Co-founders Daniele Rossi and David Resnick and our team of amazing hosts from the last 8 years have connected people who stutter from over 70 countries. Some of those hosts are here today. Chad, Doug, Heather, Bob, Annie, Rosie, Vikesh, Elaine, Pam, Evan, John, and I think Kenny. There's many hosts here that we have to thank for this success. So, to get back to John's question of why I chose this path, my response was a simpler version of what I've presented here today. But I could have answered him by referring back to a poem that both of us were made to remember as pledges, called The Bridge Builder. In the poem, an old man crosses a roaring river and is then questioned by an onlooker about why he stopped to build a bridge over the river he just crossed. The man explains that he's trying to make it a bit easier for the next person on the same journey. There are many people here in this room who have been and continue to be bridge builders to me and so many others. And for that, I am sincerely grateful. There are so many people in this room that may soon discover that they are bridge builders themselves who impact the lives of other people who stutter. And then there's the bridge builder we are here to honor. Dr. Fred Murray, thank you for paving the way for so many of us. You will be missed.